January 9, 2012. Civil society groups joined by the organized labor commenced mass protests across Nigeria, demanding that government rescind its January 1st decision to remove the fuel subsidy and increase fuel pump price from 65 to 141 naira. That protest, in which millions of Nigerians participated and lasted for 2 weeks, ended in a concession with the pump price pegged at the present 97 naira, while government made promises and plans to reinvest the funds from the subsidy. Exactly 3 years after, these civil society groups say the corruption and impunity in the oil sector is the same and getting worse.
The Minister of Petroleum Resources had said then, during the January uprising, and also before a committee of the Senate, that capacity utilization rate of the domestic refineries, which she claimed that as at 2012, they had brought up from 12% to 40% during the crisis, would actually be improved to 90% by the second quarter of 2014. Outrageously, though, capacity utilization at the nation's 4 domestic refineries is now reported in an NNPC report to be at a mere 16.14% average for the 4.
These civil groups say the crash in crude oil prices to $50 per barrel is much cause for worry, especially as government continues to deplete the excess crude account, a matter for which they urge Nigerians to hold government accountable.
Up to this moment, necessary policy, legislative and institutional frameworks have either not been put in place, or where they are in place, they have been weakened and incapacitated, making it impossible for this to be effective.
We demand that, as a lasting legacy to our January uprising, of the 2012, all active Nigerian citizens should redouble their organizing and mobilizing effort to ensure that government and political parties and leaders are take seriously the fight against corruption and develop, a practice of zero tolerance to corruption in the country.
As election preparations unfold, these civil groups have put out questions which they ask Nigerians to demand, such as, what happened to the domestic refineries government promised 3 years ago? Why is the pump price of petrol static despite the reduction in the cost of petrol? Why has the money in the excess crude account continued to dwindle even ahead of the current oil crisis? And why has no culprits been brought to account for the looting and corruption in the petroleum sector 3 years after nationwide protests that uncovered these misappropriations? The present government or the next will have to answer these questions. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.